This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Along, just like Mario Cristobal, adding Jaden Wayne now. I mean, it just seems like every day there's a commitment from a 4 or 5-star player to the University of Miami. That has completely changed here, where you couldn't get a 4-star or 5-star to commit. Now, again, we need them to stay here, and a year later, actually really take the field with the team and all that kind of stuff. But I know these kind of commitments are only good for so long until we actually really see them get out on the field. But what can you tell us?
Yeah, really good pass rusher. Another one of these two-sport kids. He plays basketball as well. Another a kid that ultimately 6'5", 245, already built to come in and contribute and play right away. A top 100 player. Oh, the way I look at it, I know all the recruiting services. They make a lot of money getting you to buy subscriptions, right? To get all this news and information. But really, I mean, they developed all this interest, right, in creating 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. And a big part of this whole Jaden Wayne thing, I don't know if you've noticed, but when he committed to Miami, he went from being a 5-star an hour later to a 4-star. And I know the fan base got all bent out of shape over it. Here's what I'll tell you. Usually, if you're a top 100 or top 150 recruit, okay, if you're one of the elite kids, it doesn't matter if you're a 5 or a 4-star. Usually 9 times out of 10, you're going to pan out and be a really good player at the next level if you're coached right, if you do what you're supposed to do. So I think for Miami, big win. They're getting a lot of top 100, top 150 type players, and that wasn't happening before. And Mario Cristobal is doing it without coaching a game. So he does it because he's got great relationships. He does it because he's got the support of John Ruiz and NIL, right, which didn't exist before. No. But ultimately, I think he's doing it because he's a great recruiter. Okay, he gets on these kids when they're in the 8th and 9th grade, and that's what happened here with Jaden Wayne. He's first offer, right, when he was at Oregon. All of that matters to these kids. These relationships matter to these kids. They wouldn't be coming here if they didn't trust Mario Cristobal. Bottom line.
Okay. All right. So talk to me now about speaking of Ruiz,
Yes.
stadium talk now again is back.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been able to unearth from all this stadium talk?
Well, listen, he's obviously trying to make a push here to get the University of Miami to build a stadium closer to campus, and Tropical Park is a place we've all been talking about for a long time.
The only place,
really, right? There's as far as being closer to campus. So he's got these plans drawn up. He put them out last night, him and his sons, and they're kind of the first real image of what his vision is, right? Because we've heard him talk about it. Well, this is their plan. This is what they think it would look like. Now, whether or not this has been discussed at the highest levels at and whether or not we're to that point is another situation. But this is his pitch. This is his plan. This is what he would like to do with the University of Miami going forward. All that said, we're still a long ways off in my mind from getting anywhere in terms of the school saying, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Well, you also have to get the city to allow it to happen, right? I mean,
absolutely. That's another huge step, probably even bigger step before you can get the school. Yeah. But again,
because they are giving away a public park once they do that.
Correct.
Because the stadium and the parking and all that is going to take up most of the space of Tropical Park.
Correct. And
you know what I mean?
And we're not there yet. I know the fan base is excited about these kind of things, and rightfully so. I mean, any type of progress, vision for the future, positive vision for the future, you get excited about. But again, the reality is we're a ways off. I have yet to hear any commissioners or city council or anybody even in UM's administration sort of acknowledge, hey, this is what we're doing. So I think right now this is more Ruiz based. Obviously, he's been talking to people at the university. Obviously, he's probably had conversations with people in the city and discuss these things. You don't go through this process without having some level of conversations. But whether or not it gets approved and the money and all those other factors, it's still a long way off.
Yeah, no, and you look at the renderings and everything. There's a lot of construction that would have to be done there besides the stadium parking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you've got to, I don't know, you're going to have to maybe even redo some of the roads, the infrastructure to get in and off, the ingress and egress, in other words, of the
Right
highway.
off the Palmetto.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work that would have to be done for that whole thing to work out. But here's the thing. That's the only place they have. There is no other piece of land available. And then the question I have is, and that is, see, here's the thing. Some people don't realize this because they don't live around here like I do. I live around that area. That's a popular park.
Yeah.
That's a park that's used by a lot of people every day. Weekends, it's packed. And once you put that stadium in there and everything else, you're going to take away a lot of the amenities that park had. And I wonder how the city is going to feel about that, because what are their options? What other parks do they go to? And like Tropical Park, there's nothing even close to Tropical Park anywhere near that right now at this point in time.
No, not at all. Look, is it a pipe dream? Is this never going to happen? I don't want to say no. And I'm never going to sit here and completely dismiss it, because obviously when you have money and dollars behind it, and people who want to make something like this happen, you have to say it's a possibility. But you're right. I mean, there's that Tropical Park, the location, between traffic and the amount of people who are there all the time. I mean, people who play on those fields, right? The softball and baseball fields that they have there.
Basketball is constantly,
soccer,
parties that are there,
the picnics, all of those things. Yeah, but listen, things change, right? And who knows if at another point here in the years to come, there's another location where they could create a park similar to that. I don't know. I mean, it depends on the housing developments and what area is actually available.
It's just so developed where that area,
right,
that there's nowhere to go anymore. It's just, this isn't West, where you still have some space and you can build into the swamps and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's not the way it is, dude. That's the heart and soul of the city right there where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Wachete," it's loaded, bro.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I live in that area, bro. I drive all through there. There's just nothing. Everything is houses already. Everything's been built for 40, 50 years already.
Yeah.
Everything,
So, I don't know either. I think, I know the other place was Melreese, right? Like, oh, let's do this together with the soccer stadium and combine
that makes sense. That makes sense.
So I don't know, man. I think
Melreese doesn't have the importance that Tropical Park has.
No, not as far as location.
I'm sorry for the judges out there that go play at the golf course, because I've been told that's really what's kind of what's
stopping it. They love golfing there.
Yeah, the real juice is that there's a bunch of judges from Dade County that actually play.
And Ray Allen, right? He's
that's like your private course practically. And so really those are the people who are kind of getting in the way. Outside of that, that park is not used like Tropical Park, bro. Not even close. And I'm thinking, Tropical Park with its lakes and everything, what are you going to do with those lakes? You have to refill those lakes? How do you know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you do to build everything up? Because once you start building stadiums and parking garages and things like that, you're not going to have a lot of space left over. So for it to be a public park on top of all of it, that's one of the things I like about Moss's plan, that it's structured in a way where it has a lot of the park space still available. You know what I mean? A lot of practice facilities and all that kind of stuff. And so they did keep a lot of that there in that. So that allows that. But at Tropical Park, man, you start putting a stadium and parking and, and there's going to be all kinds of other things that they're going to add to it. And eventually you just lose the park. Period.
Yeah. You're right. Can't argue with you there, brother.
Yeah. All right. So any other news happening in the Canes world that we should know about outside of recruiting and John Ruiz's stadium?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, the ACC Media Days is about 10 days away right now. So
Mhm.
you're going to be able to actually start hearing some interviews and Mario talking about the team, and camp I think is going to be starting right at the beginning of August. So I mean, we're not too far away from the real thing getting rolling here. Now, from a recruiting perspective, they're going to be adding a few kids here. I think today most people are expecting them to get a commitment from this 4-star linebacker Raul Aguirre, whose father played at Columbus and he's originally from Miami. But he's one of the top linebackers in the country. Alabama wanted him. It looks like Miami's going to end up getting him when he announces. I think he's doing it at 3:00 this afternoon. So there'll probably be a new commitment. And then in the next couple of weeks, I mean, there's a lot of good kids that they're in on, especially offensive linemen. Samson Okunlola, the 5-star out of Massachusetts. You have this kid Peyton Kirkland out of Orlando, a 4-star. A lot of offensive linemen, really good. And I think, Miami could potentially have the best offensive line class in the country this year with some of the kids that they're going after. So we'll have a bunch of commitments here in the weeks ahead, but today you'll most likely the linebacker Aguirre out of Georgia will be committing to Miami.
Well, that is good news there. That they're going to get another commitment. I just really impressed, man, how he has this quickly. They haven't played anything. Can you imagine Can you imagine if they actually play well this year?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is
That's nuts.
yeah, I mean, that again is a testament to him as a recruiter. And I know last week people were talking about, they were kind of upset on Friday that they didn't get Jalen Brown, the 5-star receiver out of Miami Gulliver Prep, whose father, by the way, is a statistician at Miami Heat games. So I got to know his dad over the years, covering the Heat for the 3 years that I was on the beat with them. But he'd been telling me about his son, and that he's probably going to go away to college. And the one thing I will say, is a lot of these commitments Miami are getting, they're not local kids; they're the out-of-state kids. So,
right.
I think you can give Mario a lot of credit for what he's done on the West Coast and getting all these West Coast commitments. But here in Dade County and in Broward County, he still kind of has to convince some of these elite kids that, hey, Miami's a different place. They've been living here for their whole lives. They've seen UM struggle for a long time. I think winning on the field, you talk about this being a very successful season. I think winning on the field this year is what's going to really be the difference with them getting some of the local kids to buy in. That said, and while people were lamenting the Jalen Brown loss, I will say Hakeem Williams, who's I think the Broward County Athlete of the Year, he won a state title in basketball, 6'4", 210-pound receiver who reminds me a lot of Andre Johnson. They're in on him heavy. He's a 4-star kid out of Fort Lauderdale, Stranahan, big time kid. If you end up getting him, even if you lose Jalen Brown to LSU, that's a big pickup for Miami if they're able to get him here in the recruiting circle. So, again, a lot of things happening. Miami's in on a lot of good players. But you're right. Football season, it's going to matter. It's going to matter. They need to win 9-10 games this year to get these kids to sign on the dotted line come December.
No, but if they win 9 or 10, they're going to get others to, or 11. They're going to get others to actually decommit from other places.
Oh yeah,
commit here. That's my point. That if they actually win,
oh
my God, if they're already committing now, you know how fair weathered things are. You start to win, then they definitely want to join you.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why everybody goes to Alabama. It's not only that you're going to play, you're also going to win, dude. You're going to get showcased. So if that happens here, wow. I mean, it's impressive, dude. It really is impressive because you kind of expected some of this after they start playing well.
Right. I didn't expect these commitments to come in the summertime, to be honest with you. I thought
neither did I.
This would be happening during the season.
Right.
But so many of these kids now. Oh, the other part of this is and we're all kind of getting adjusted to the new calendar. But June has become such a huge month in recruiting because that's when all these elite kids take official visits, and so it's kind of like a phase where the elite kids lock in, commitments to certain schools, and then they have to be recruited the rest of the year until they sign in December. So that's what's happening is the calendar's changed. Before you wouldn't get as many commitments over the summertime because the kids were still taking trips in the fall and waiting until December and all that. But now so many official visits take place in June that it kind of speeds up the process. So that's what's changed here in the last couple of years. But ultimately, Mario has done his job. He's gotten all these kids to visit. Okay, I'm talking about elite kids from all over the country, and he's gotten the ones that he's had great relationships with to commit without even coaching a game. So
Right. Yeah. Impressive stuff as always. All right. What are you working on at the Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
yeah, I mean, listen, overtime 7-on-7, the one that I attended last month, I'll be having a story coming out on them. You know, they are kind of you talk about, you know, these TV companies, ESPN and Fox, and you know, super conferences and getting people to tune in and watch. You know, Overtime is a company based out of New York City, and they're very involved in the basketball circuit. They had a lot of the elite you know, basketball players in the country basically go to their school or their quote unquote camp to play either their senior year of high school or their first year of college before going pro. Well, now they've kind of ventured into 7-on-7 football, and they had that camp last month, and so they recorded 4 days worth of content. They're going to start rolling it out this week. But you know, their target audience is 13 to 35, and we know, you and I, you know, we'll sit there and we'll watch games from beginning to end. But today's generation, the millennials and the you know, Generation X, which I'm a part of, but basically, you know, Gen Z, yeah, basically, you know, they will watch clips. And so this Overtime company has essentially created a whole bunch of social media content with over 50 million views. And, you know, they're talking with TV companies about the way that they film things with drones and all kinds of. So we'll see if maybe this is the future of the way sports goes. You know how there's always copycats, right? The pros and the college, they kind of, the high school innovates, and then the colleges and the pros kind of look at it and say, hey, we like this concept. So I'm going to have a story on Overtime and what they're doing with their content and 7-on-7 football, and of course Canes recruiting, man. I mean, that's nonstop. And then we'll get into camp, man. We'll have some previews. I'll make some predictions. I'll have 5 questions going into camp. All that stuff will be coming out here before I'll be writing it before I go on vacation this Friday. I'll be finishing it on, leaving it all for to be posted when I'm gone.
They're allowing you to take a vacation?
They're forcing me. I've literally.
Oh, okay, that's what I figured. Of course,
I think I've got over 250 hours of vacation I haven't used yet. So
yeah, I figured Rojas is kicking your ass out. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Go get rest. Yeah. Go, stop writing.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
It's exactly. That was my wife just a couple days ago. Leave. Go to Vegas. Get out of here for 10 days. You know,
yes, get out of my hair, please.
It's the same thing. It's the same. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at the Athletic. More importantly, subscribe like I do. Okay, I paid my Athletic membership yesterday. I think it was, or the day before.
You did. All right, appreciate that.
Every single month, of course. I support you many ways.
Yes, you do, brother. Yes, you do.
Anyway, no, we appreciate it, bro. We appreciate it. It's a together thing, brother. It's a together thing. We're all one family, and we're rocking and rolling, which is good stuff. Can't wait for football season, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to have something to talk about, but because to prepare for this show today was near impossible, bro. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah. I mean, thank God for John Ruiz that he threw out some
renderings
talk there. It's like, hey, thanks, John. Hey, talking point. Yeah.
Well, I made this point with my podcast earlier today, which by the way, that's something people should check out. I got Andrew Farrelly from South Florida Express to come on and talk about all this recruiting. So if you want to hear more of it, but one final point before I let you go is, you know, if it wasn't for recruiting being, you know, 12, I mean, what would college football fans do? Right. I mean, this has made it year round. This recruiting thing has made it year round. So it kills the waiting time before football camp starts.
Yeah, it does. Big time.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, we'll catch you later on in the week.
Yep.
Before you go on vacation. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro, our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.